Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on another Sandia Mountain Natural History Center quick trip. If you haven't been following along, we're on a series of adventures down in the Gila National Forest. And today it's mountain biking in a place called Little Walnut, just outside of Silver City. Thanks for watching, and let's have some fun. So this is pretty cool. We don't see this in the northern part of the state very much. An agave garden, which is really cool in and of itself. But if we get closer, look right in the middle, that is a pack rat midden. Now, that is a great spot for a pack rat midden, because think if you're a coyote trying to get at those pack rats. Look at the sharp agave that you would have to go through. So well done for the pack rats. Here you can see how sharp the spines are on that agave. But if you go down, this one's been munched, probably by a deer. Busy as a bee. There's a bee right in there. So this is my opinion that cactus have some of the most beautiful flowers anywhere. And the cactus spines make it really tough to take a bouquet home to your wife. This cactus is a cholla, but this is a little bit different cholla than we have up north. It has a lot more spines. I'm not sure why that would be. So a funny thing just happened, and I thought it was worth talking about for a second. I got lost. It's not really that I got lost, I'm not sure where this trail goes. I have a feeling I'm on the Continental Divide Trail, because most of the trails here go in loops, and this one is not looping. It just keeps going and going. But what I wanted to talk about was how I panicked for a second. You know, the first thing I thought about was, do I have my satellite locator? Of course, like a moron, I left it at the truck. And then I was thinking, well, I can just go back. But what's funny is I sat down, I wanted to think about my situation, which is the first thing you should do, not panic. Sit down, get a drink of water, start thinking things through. And I thought, well, the simplest thing is to just go back. I know once I get back to my last trail junction, I'll know where I'm at. So it's not really a big deal. But the funny thing is my brain was sort of in this panic mode. I didn't even think of the fact that I have 2 apps on my phone. I have service, and those 2 apps are map apps, Trail Forks and CalTopo. They could both show me all the trails and show me the way to get back. I also brain farted that I have a map in my pocket and a compass on my wrist. So what's interesting, and I think what's interesting scientifically, is how the brain, it panics. And the first thing you got to do is sit down, relax, and think about your situation. Just wanted to share my faux pas with you. So way off in the distance there, that is actually a monastery. I forget what it's called, but I've been to a few monasteries here in New Mexico. They're always out in pretty remote places, which I guess makes a lot of sense. That is Gomez Peak right there. And what you're looking at is a fire scar. But what's interesting is the fire came up this south side, which is going to be hotter and drier. and actually stopped on this north side, which is going to be cooler and wetter. It's an interesting little insight into fire behavior. So looking at this tree on the bottom, looks pretty dead, huh? But if you follow it up, it's still alive. This is an alligator juniper tree. And one of its survival mechanisms is it lets big portions of itself die, so it doesn't have to keep as much of the tree alive. You can almost kind of gauge where you are in New Mexico by whether you have alligator junipers here in the south, one seed junipers sort of in the middle, and Rocky Mountain junipers up north. I mentioned the Continental Divide Trail earlier. Runs from Canada all the way down to Antelope Wells here in southern New Mexico. But there's another trail that runs right through here called the Great Divide. And that is a mountain bike route that pretty much travels the same route. It's just that you're not allowed to ride all of the Continental Divide Trail for various reasons. Some sections just don't allow mountain bikes. Other sections are wilderness that are, also don't allow mountain bikes. Some sections are just not suitable for mountain bikes. So they've created a secondary route called the Great Divide that also runs all the way from Canada down to Mexico. So I got one of my favorite t-shirts on. I'll cut in a picture right here so you can see it's New Mexico. Love New Mexico. Sorry. I love New Mexico. It's mountain biking. I love mountain biking. It's given to me by my family. Love my family. So what could possibly be wrong? We'll take a close look. See that big saguaro cactus? There are no saguaro cactus in New Mexico. Saguaros are the signature plant of the Sonoran Desert. Here in New Mexico, we have the Chihuahuan Desert. Still a cool shirt though. So it's another hot, dry day in New Mexico after a pretty warm, fairly dry winter. So that means fire danger is high. Right now we are in stage 2 fire restrictions. So there are 3 stages of fire restrictions. Stage 1 means that you can only have campfires in approved like fire rings and stuff like that. Stage 2 means that you can't have any campfires, any open flames. There's some rules about chainsaws and things like that, welding obviously, and all that kind of stuff. And then stage 3 would be closure. So we're always trying to avoid stage 3. So we need rain. Now there are storm clouds building above me. You think, oh, that would be good. But when it's this hot and dry, that often means lightning, and the rain is not reaching the ground. So lightning in a hot, dry environment equals fire. So we hope that doesn't happen. Really appreciate you watching, and we will catch you on the next one.